to, we say, we want to get paid what we're worth, and we should get paid what we're worth. But are you truly worth what you're asking for?
Like, to me, it's like, yo, if I win an Oscar, like, everybody should be on their knees for me for the next movie. Like, the price should be fucking going up.
And it's a shame because, you want to support Black artists, you do, but when they quote you $700 for a variant cover, I'm like, I can't support you. I'm just gonna stick with my guy here in Indonesia because I can't support that. And this is gonna be new territory for me because I usually keep my opinions about other people to myself. So,
Okay.
this will be new territory, but it's I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels the way I do. So
nah, you definitely not. And it's like, yo, people don't want to. I mean, there's some people like me. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll say whatever I want. But like, there's some people that don't want to say what they really feel because they feel like it's going against the Black community, or they feel like it's going against women, or they feel like they're going against Black women. But it's like, yo, sometimes like we have to be realistic with the shit that we're talking about. And that's one thing that I started to notice, like, with all the diversity that's going on between Disney and Marvel, and how people feel about woke movies. Is it good or is it not? Is diversity a bad thing? Like, all of that shit. And as long as it doesn't stifle the art form, and as long as you figure out what you're worth and you're able to kind of capitalize on it and figure out when you're able to capitalize it, I think all of that stuff is important, and it's good to have these conversations because there's new up and coming people like yourself who is kicking butt. You're coming out with issue 2 of your freaking comic, which, like I said, issue 1 was freaking phenomenal. And I might as well introduce this right now. I have Karla on here for everybody who is on this audio adventure, or you're watching it on YouTube. Karla is the creator of Luna, and one of the most beautiful pieces of comics in the indie space, but also in regular comics that I've ever seen. And the story writing is like top notch. Like, you're going to be reading this shit and you're like, oh, this is kind of like Game of Thrones like level just for like comics. So highly appreciated.
Thank you.
And this is your second time on here, so we got a veteran right here. Always welcome. And let's get to it. So what are we talking about today? We got a couple of topics. We're gonna kind of keep this. I would say this is kind of like a pop culture type of conversation, right?
Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about all the latest. Like, Monique was just on Shannon Sharp. I didn't watch the full interview. Yes. I just watched the clip specifically that talked about pay in Hollywood, and then Taraji's comments. And then some things some stats that I looked up. I sent those to you early on. But just like getting back to, we say, we want to get paid what we're worth, and we should get paid what we're worth. But are you truly worth what you're asking for? So I wanted to kind of get into that and look at the facts. Look at the bankable actors, the Black actors and actresses in Hollywood. And, I think it's a lesson for us as indie creators. We want to get paid what we're worth. Our work is priceless because we are creating from a very unique voice and perspective. But at the same time, for example, when I was shopping around to get some variant covers for Luna, you should just like imagine like the prices that people were quoting me. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm not going to pay that for. I'm not paying that. I can't afford that. That is probably what you're worth because you worked with the big 2. But who's paying? What indie creators paying that? So. Yeah. And it's a shame because you want to support Black artists, you do, but when they quote you $700 for a variant cover, I'm like, I can't support you. I'm just going to stick with my guy here in Indonesia because I can't support that. Like, I can't, and that kind of gets back to
shout out to Indonesia.
we as Black women, Black men, we because we haven't had it, we want to speak up.
Yeah.
We want to speak up for ourselves. But to quote me $700 for a variant cover, I can't afford that. You might be your artistry is top notch, is great, but you're telling me something that, am I going to get that back though? Am I going to get that back in sales? I don't know if I'm going to get that
Yeah.
back in sales, so that's kind of the conversation like with Taraji and Monique. They are
Mm-hmm.
very talented actresses. They're top tier. Like when I see them
Yeah.
on screen, I know I'm going to be entertained. I know it's going to be a good story. But are they asking for something that their investors are really going to get back? Or are they a good ROI? You know what I mean? Return on investment.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that term right
Hmm.
there, ROI, and that's why I'm very cognizant of metrics and shit like that, because even for myself, like when I want to do things, or when I want to maneuver, or when I want to open doors of opportunity, I speak about the numbers. I don't want to talk about like myself and my feelings, because of course I feel like I should be making $30 billion right now, but let's be realistic. It's like, no, it's like, all right, cool, but let the numbers speak for itself. So, like you said, with the person who was making the variant cover, they're charging $700. Now, I don't know the full details for it, but it sounds like they also make artwork, or they do covers for, let's say,
Yeah, they
like the
do.
bigger companies,
They do.
DC, Marvel, whatever. Um, I mean, the fact that they're advertising their services for indie creators tells me that maybe they're not getting the amount of work that they should be getting from the bigger people. So they need to find a channel or avenue on their own. Eh, For me personally, if I was doing that and I know I'm reaching out to indie creators, it's like, yeah, I'm going to kind of position my pricing a little bit so it makes it affordable for these indie creators, so I
Right.
can get more of my work out there. So now when I have more of my work, I can say, hey, this is what I did for this
Hmm.
cover, this cover, this cover for indie projects that were at X amount of dollars, and then they
Hmm.
jumped or they skyrocketed. So it's all about the data. So if I'm able to bring that data to, let's say, a major comic book company, then that elevates the price that I had on their level a
Right.
little bit higher. But most people don't think like that, because maybe because they haven't been in business, they don't know marketing, they don't know analytics and shit like that.
Hmm.
Um, I get it. But on the flip side, what Monique was talking about on Club Shay Shay, and I haven't watched it. Is that
Yeah,
even out yet? I know
they
they were dropping
they I
clips.
think I haven't watched the full video. I just saw this
Mm-hmm.
particular clip on the Shade Room, and so I went to the YouTube
Okay.
channel and I saw that particular clip. Mm.
Okay. I saw a couple of clips too, but one of the clips she was talking about was Taraji was talking to her about, and this was when I think she was doing the Monique show or something like that. And then Taraji was like, "Oh, you just gotta hustle, and that opportunity will come." But then Monique's like, "Yeah, you hustle and hustle and hustle, and then you get to age X, and you're like, the opportunity never came. It's like, shit, I should have been asking for it all
Mhm.
of these years." So how do you kind of manage that now? It's like, all right, you kind of want to position yourself to basically what the market says you're worth and what the analytics say you're worth, but then how do you move up from that point?
So, this is speaking from the outside. Like, I'm obviously not a part of the industry. I'm not an actor. I'm not an actress in Hollywood, let alone America. Um, but I think the same principles that we apply to our lives can apply there. Although number one, Hollywood is very small for Black actors. They don't have a lot of opportunities. So on the one hand, I think that you got to pay your dues, right? And Taraji at that time, when
Mm-hmm.
she had that conversation with Monique, she was in the process of paying her dues. No one really knew
Okay.
her. She was still paying her dues, so that was her thought process. Like, if I keep doing this, one day I'll be able to ask for X amount of money, for a
Yeah.
particular project. But Monique, she at that time she had been in the business for a very long time. She did the Parkers. You know, she's been in other projects, and so she kind of knew what she was talking about. Like, no, honey, you got to ask for it now, and I agree with that. You should ask what you think you're worth. You should ask for it. That's something that Black women, Black men, we don't often do, especially like in corporate America. Even, you know, as a nurse, sometimes I don't all ask for what I'm actually worth. But I'm just, you know, at later in
Mm-hmm.
life, I learned how to do that. Like, you know, hey, you know, what can you the rate for my skill set is XYZ. Can you meet me there? And more often than not, the
Yeah.
answer is yes, because they need my skill set. But in
Yeah.
Hollywood, it's not necessarily the same. Unless you are, you know,
Yeah.
I got the list for you, the bankable actors. Unless you are on that list, you're replaceable. And so, yes, I think you should ask what you're worth, be willing to negotiate, but and if you're not bringing in the numbers though, like if your movie does not break the box office, guess what? That next time you sit at the table to negotiate your salary, you're not going to get your salary. You know, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
anything to do with your talent. It doesn't have anything to do with, you know, what you think you're worth. It's, are you a good investment? That's what producers, you know, these people that's making these decisions, that's what they want to know. Are you a good investment? You know, and I sent
Yeah.
you an article. It's an old article. I didn't look at the date, but it's back from 2018 about the 10 um, most bankable actors, Black actors. And this is 2018.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sure, you know, one or two of these.
Yo,
I
there's some
know,
fire
I
on this
know.
list. There's some
Um,
fire on this list. I'm gonna put these articles in the show notes,
mhm.
but there's some fire
So
on this list.
this is the one where I sent you two articles. This is the one where it actually tells you how much they've made, their movies have made in total. So you want
Yeah.
to go through that list?
Yeah, yeah, we could go through it. So we got Forrest Whitaker at number 10. This is the
Number
list we
10
talking
is
about, right?
Lupita.
Hold up. Oh, so you know what? I'm on the other
Oh, let me
article, the
see.
second one that you sent me. All right, cool. We'll go to okay, so this is black actresses. And the other list was kind of like mixed.
Okay,
It
so
was
which one
both.
you want now?
And once no, we could do that's if this website would stop refreshing the page. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's go all the way to 10. For some reason, this isn't working for me. It's like, here, why don't you read them off
Okay,
if
so
you have them
this
there?
list is from 2018. This basically tells you in order the amount of money these actors of color have made. Because Zoe Saldana's on
Yep.
here, so she's not really considered black. But number 10, Lupita, as of 2018, yeah, as of
Fire actress.
2018, her total gross in movies is 2.7 billion. Okay, so we talk about billions.
She's in a lot
We're
of
not
big
talking about
titles.
millions. We're talking about billions.
She's in a lot of big. So let's pause there. Let's talk about some of her roles. She obviously
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther.
12 Years a
There's
Slave.
not too many. There, yeah, there are I'm sorry, there are actresses that are African, but I don't think that are as big as
Mm-mm.
Lupita.
No, I don't think so either. I can't think of any.
Yeah, nah,
Um,
nah. And that's probably her biggest movie
yeah, because it
as
did
far
cross the
as
box office. That's probably half of that total right there. Black Panther, and the other half are all, you know, just a culmination of her movies. And I'm not too versed on her latest movies, but I know the two is 12 Years a Slave. That's her breakout role, and then Black Panther,
mhm,
and then of course the one with Jordan Peele. Yes, but
Us.
I don't think it made a whole lot of money. But her roles, like when you think of Lupita, you know this film is going to be a good film. Like it's not like, oh, I don't know if I should see
Mhm.
it. What you think? You just know it's going to be a good film, and
Yeah.
she is so versatile that she is a good investment. Like you can put her in anything, and she's going to kill that role. She's very versatile. Her
Yep.
range is amazing. And so I think that's why she's on this list. And this is back in 2018. So I know, she's made, we have, this doesn't even include the second Black Panther movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so Lupita's on this. Number 9 is Forrest Whitaker. The total gross is for his movies as of 2018 was 2.8 billion.
He's been in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
movies. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of movies.
Including Black Panther.
Oh shit, yeah.
um,
Hey, there you go. That Black Panther. So somebody like Forrest Whitaker, he's played a
mhm.
lot of different roles. What he was in Black Panther wasn't what he was. You remember that movie with Usher, where they were in the school and that dude brought a gun in the school and they shot the security guard? The security guard was Forrest
No,
Whitaker. I forget. I think it's called. It's not called Set It. Set It Off is
yeah,
with
set
Queen
it off.
Latifah, right? And Jada. Shit.
I don't
What?
follow
Oh my god.
Forrest's career. He's a phenomenal actor, but he's not one of my favorites. So I don't know a whole lot. I'm like, if I obviously, oh, that's Forrest Whitaker. He's very his. You know who he is, but I couldn't tell you a movie.
He was also in Star Wars Rogue One, and they used his character and voiceovers in video games. And I believe the name of the character is Saul. Saul. I forget his last name, but he was in the video games, and he was also. I don't know if they used his voice in some of the animated series that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta double check that, but that's
Mm-hmm.
fucking money right
Yeah.
there.
And I'm surprised Denzel's not on this list. That's.
Oh, because he's upper echelon. He is upper echelon. He probably
I
trumps
know.
everybody on the
He
list.
probably don't even reveal his stuff. Okay, number 8 is Zoe Saldana. Her total gross. This was 2018, so this is not even her new stuff. Total gross
Mm-hmm.
is 3.2 billion as of 2018. So that doesn't even include like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think the last one or the last two,
Yeah.
and then the Avatar movie, right? I think that's all.
Yeah. It's definitely the first Avatar. I don't, it's definitely not the second one. If you're saying 2018, I mean, the last one
Mm-hmm.
obviously just came out, I think 2022 anyway. But Zoe Saldana, she's in, I think out of like 3 of the top grossing movies of all time, she's in like 3 of them. Pirates of the Caribbean, which she had like a small role in the first one. Obviously, Avengers and
Mm-hmm.
Avatar. Like, and Avatar, she's the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Did phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal. Um, and then yeah, Guardians. She's also one of the leading. She is the leading
Mm-hmm.
actress in Guardians. So
And she
yeah, yeah,
Amsterdam, Vivo. Yeah, so I don't even know those movies. Um
yeah. Colombiana is one of my favorite movies from her. Also,
mhm.
that's a good movie, but that's like a small movie. But I'm just trying to think as far as like range. So when like Taraji or Monique talk about what they should be getting paid for, I'm always thinking about, all right, what's the range of these actors and actresses, and what's the draw of these actors and
Mhm.
actresses. Those are, I feel like, are like 2 of the things. Like, could you put Monique and Taraji in a fucking superhero movie? Could they be in a horror movie without taking away the aspect of the horror? They could obviously be in comedies. They could obviously be in the black movies, the hood movies, this,
Mhm.
like all of that shit. But I'm just thinking of like range, like usability of these actors and actresses. Are they gonna be in movies that like people in the Midwest are gonna go out and
Yeah.
see?
I mean, and the honest answer is we don't know because either they have not been given the
Yeah,
opportunity or they don't like those type of roles or they've auditioned for those roles and they weren't chosen. So we don't really know the answer to that question, but I think that is a
yeah.
huge factor when people are coming to the table and saying, "Hey, pay me what I'm worth." Do you have a portfolio? Like, what is the actors? They have like a portfolio. What is that called? Like an acting reel? I don't,
I
I don't know, but
I have no idea. Somebody gonna have to let us
yeah,
know in the comments.
just like with an artist, you have to show what you can do, and if they don't have that as a part of their, I don't know, portfolio, I don't know what you call it, then I think that's the answer to your question. You know, you have these actors have
Yeah,
range. Anything you put them in, they're gonna kill it. You know,
yeah,
Will Smith is number 7. His total gross as of
yeah.
2018 is 3.2 billion.
That's upper echelon
Mm-hmm.
right there.
And I know he was in Aladdin, Independence Day, and I mean, he's a
Love that
veteran.
movie.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, he's a vet. He's been around a
Mm-hmm.
long ass time. Been around. I mean, been in box office smashes for a long,
Mm-hmm.
long ass time. But again, it's range. Like, yo, this guy was Hitch. This guy was Pursuit of Happiness. He fought aliens in Independence Day. He fought zombies in I Am Legend. He was a freaking cowboy in that awful movie Wild Wild West. But
But you
whatever.
and
Like they, I, don't- they,
the Alien one movie, one with
what do you mean?
Tommy Lee
Independence Day.
Jones, the comedy
Oh,
Men in
Men in
Black.
Black.
Yes,
Shit. How did I forget Men in Black?
right.
How did I forget
And
Men in
one
Black?
thing about Will Smith is that he's a family actor. Like you can take your children, well, most of the movies, but you can take your children and they will love Will Smith too.
My dad took me to go see Bad Boys when I was
Yeah,
little.
yeah. My parents didn't,
That,
but you can they
that's a family movie, right?
maybe the first 5 minutes. Oh no, no, not the first 5 minutes. Um, but these actors, and that's another thing, is like, can the whole family enjoy this movie? You know what I mean? And Will Smith has been in, like, I would say half his catalog are family oriented movies. And so I think that helps with,
Yeah,
his numbers.
yeah. And this is a tough conversation too, because I fucking love Taraji. Like Cookie Lion, fucking iconic. I loved Empire. Sorry to say it, I loved it. I watched it until the very end, obviously after Jussie Smollett and that whole shit. But I watched that shit. Monique, I always watch the Parkers. Always watch that with my mom. Um, Outside of that for Monique, I I don't really know like other stuff that she's been in, but like she was in the BMF series. Like I thought that
Precious.
was
She
dope.
won
But
the
like
Oscar,
yeah,
I believe, for Precious, which is where this whole
from Precious.
conversation kind of started. Is
Yeah,
she felt she wasn't getting her dues after winning that Oscar. She wasn't getting the respect she deserved. People were asking her to work for
yeah, that's
free. She said Oprah, Tyler were asking her to work for free to market. And as an Oscar winner, she should not have been asked to do that. So I mean, there's
yeah,
more to the story. I'm
that's
obviously not that is not all that what happened, but that's where it
yeah.
came from. That movie Precious.
Nah, I can't win an Oscar and you asking me to act for free now. What am I, some
Right.
fucking bum off the streets in
Yeah.
Hollywood Boulevard? Fuck no. Yeah, that's wild. Asking me to
Yeah.
work for
They
free is
wanted her to do
crazy.
like marketing,
Insane.
when the movie was coming out, they wanted her to do marketing, but it wasn't in her contract to do that. So she was like, "No, you're going to pay me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fund this tour by myself. You're going to pay me." And they didn't want to pay her. So she was, mm,
Oh, that's what you mean. So like the
yeah.
marketing aspect do for free, but obviously get paid for the movie. Yeah, see, like that's where my knowledge kind of like drops. Like I don't understand like the movie business, that aspect. Like to me, it's like, yo, if I win an Oscar, like everybody should be on their knees for me for the next movie. Like the price should be fucking going up. Um, you know
And it
again,
does.
maybe I don't I wish other people who were combative with her would come out and speak as loudly, because I feel like we only hear her side of the story. Maybe she's difficult to work with. Maybe
Well,
I don't know
even
what
if
I
she
don't know what
is,
it
we
is.
can't put that out there because that label for a black woman, that's like career suicide.
Uh, I mean, again, it's all about being realistic. Like, if there's a problem, if there's a situation, we can't just
Mm-hmm.
sweep it under the rug and ignore it. It's like, all right, cool, let's deal with it and let's figure out how to maneuver or how to be better at this. If somebody is difficult to work with, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what gender, race, anything, just like don't be difficult, be a people person. And again, I'm not saying this is like for Monique, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
kind of throwing shit out there to figure it out. But it's like, yo, my mom always taught me to leave a scent of roses wherever you go. My mom always taught me, like, yo, if you eat at somebody's house,
Mm-hmm.
wash the dishes. Like, that's just caked in. That's
Mm-hmm.
built into me. So, I can't picture myself being difficult. And even when a situation is disrespecting me, I still can't see myself being like disrespectful back or difficult to work
Mm-hmm.
with back, if that makes sense. It's like I'm gonna build myself up to then when I leave, you're begging me to come back because now you see what it's like to
Mm-hmm.
not have me there. That's just like my thought process. I don't know if everybody thinks like that, but and it's just like I feel like maybe there's some parts behind the scenes that we don't know, and now we'll continue about the list, but like now the numbers have come in for the color purple, and it didn't do as good as they wanted it to
Mm-hmm.
be or as it should be, and now people are blaming Taraji for kind of stepping on the.
It's not Taraji's fault. I don't think she helped
I,
the rollout. I don't think she helped it, but I don't think it's her
okay,
fault. And I, I think when we talked about this a few weeks ago, I said, "Oh, it's her fault because this." But actually, when you think about it, there's a lot of factors to why the color purple didn't do well. Number,
what are some of those
did you ask
factors?
for a remake of the color purple? Did I ask for a remake of the color purple? Did,
To be honest, I didn't even see color
uh,
purple first
if
one. I
you
didn't see the
if
first
okay,
shade of
so if you
purple.
would have saw the first one, then you know why some people kind of feel a certain way about the remake, because the first one for me was the color purple. Whoopi
Okay,
Goldberg, that whole cast, the storyline, everything, that was the color purple for me. I didn't ask for a remake, so I probably would not have seen it anyway, right? But then when I heard Taraji's comments about it, I was like, I don't want to go there and get, all that negative energy, even though she was right. Because when you look at what she's
yeah,
getting paid, I feel like she should be getting paid more. She should not be anything under, for me, for Taraji, anything under 5 to 10 million is beneath her. But she consistently takes these roles that are only paying like 100K. I'm like, who is your agent? Who are these people in your circle? Who's
100K is wild when the exact salary is probably like 250, two
two
thirty.
230K?
Yeah, that's
It's
that's that's crazy. I mean,
so I don't know. I
that's
don't know
wild.
who. I don't know who is in Taraji's corner, but they are getting terrible roles for her. Like though, no one should be coming to Taraji, with, oh, we're going to offer you 75K. Oh, we're going to offer you 100K. And then Tyler was boasting that he was offered her 500K. Okay, that's great, but I don't. I
Yeah,
think she should be getting more than that. Now, should she be getting 20 million? Let the numbers speak for themselves. If
yeah,
her movies are doing 5 times as that, then great. Yeah, definitely give her 20 million. But Taraji's comments, I think it was the wrong time. I don't think they weren't wrong, but they were just the wrong time, because
yeah,
the color purple, no one really truly asked for a remake. So now you're trying to push something on a culture that really wasn't asking for it. And then to see Taraji's comments, that didn't help the situation. And I'm like, well, I don't want to see,
yeah,
I don't want to support them if they treating people like that. That's how people are. We will
yeah.
not
That
support something in a minute if we think there's some type of injustice.
shot yourself in the fucking
Yeah.
foot.
So I
Yeah,
think Taraji's comments, unfortunately, I think they were spot on. I think that when you got to speak your truth, but they were just done. It was just the wrong time to say that. That was not the time to say that when you're trying to promote a film. Mm-mm.
we need. I mean, we need new stories being told. We need new stories, new perspectives. Like if we're gonna keep telling the same old, like stories in the black community over and over and over again, it's like where is our Christopher Nolan director? Yeah, and again, I don't want to match up like race to race or whatever, but at the same time it's like, well, yeah, where's our Christopher Nolan who goes from making something like Interstellar to Oppenheimer to Dark Knight, and all shit like that. Jordan Peele, I feel like he's getting there. His diversity on the style of movie that he makes is incredible. It's like the range. And obviously he started off with Get Out, which was super, super low budget, but phenomenal storytelling, and now working his way up. And he's got his new movie, which I think it's just his production studio. But still, it's like, yo, we need like new stories. I don't know what The Color Purple is, but it just kind of reminded me of like slavery times and like racism. Is that
So
what it
it was
is?
set in the early 1900s, maybe 1920s,
Okay.
30s, 40s. I think I don't remember.
So,
Um,
so not slaveries, but was it like
oh,
racism caked in there?
definitely, definitely. But
Yeah.
I saw The Color Purple when I was 8, and I loved it. I don't need to see Color
Mm,
Purple again though because of that, the undertones of racism and poverty and
yeah.
struggle and abuse. I don't need to see it again. Will I encourage my son to see it? Yes. The Color Purple is a classic, and I think everyone should watch it at least once, just like Roots. You should just watch it one time. But I don't need to see a
Yeah,
remake of
I
it
watched Roots
and them
twice.
singing.
Oh yeah, we definitely do not. Don't even think about making a
They
Roots
did.
remake. That's
Yes, a
really
few years back they made a remake of Roots. Yeah. They did.
that's
I don't
wild.
I
I
don't
think
see it playing no. You know how they used to every Black History Month they used to play Roots. I don't see it no more. But they remade Roots a few
yeah,
years back. Yes, they did. But I don't think it really went
man.
anywhere.
I had a global history teacher put that joint on. He loved that, but not because he loved slavery, but he loved like educating us on like the negative things that America did. And this is like early 2000s too, like way before like this stuff was being taught. So that was dope. And obviously I watched it at home too. But yeah, man, I mean, yeah, we need like more variety on type of movies. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love the hood movies. I like the drug dealing and shit like that. But it's like, give me the stuff like a
Hmm.
Lovecraft Country. That shit was fire. It was supernatural, black. Obviously, there was a little bit of racism in there, but it was like science fiction. Like,
Hmm.
give us that shit. Give us, just I don't know, just different stories. I even though I didn't like this, I love that Bridgerton movie, TV
Hmm.
show on Netflix, because it just showed everybody was
Shonda
just cool with each
Rhimes.
other,
Yeah, Shonda
right?
Rhimes.
Yeah.
I mean, she gave us Grey's Anatomy. Um, and I think that's
Oh, I
still
know people
on.
love
I
Grey's
think that's
Anatomy. I know people
Yeah.
love Grey's
And
Anatomy.
it just but I wouldn't really necessarily call that a black show. And that was the appeal. That's the appeal because she was able to create something that appealed to everyone. Um
Hmm.
and now she has the Bridgerton. I can't even say it. But
Yeah,
she's a
Bridgerton.
very an amazing writer. Also Ava. Ava is just has that movie origin. I don't know if I'm going to see it because it looks really sad. um
Hmm.
but she's also doing a lot of different movies. I mean, even though and I feel like it's based on nonfiction stories, like The Way They See Us was based on a true story. But she's a really
Hmm.
phenomenal director, but I feel like that her movies don't get as much recognition because of the
Yeah.
topic, the subject matter that they touch on. It's difficult to watch, and it makes people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So she's not. I don't think she's going to get her the accolade she deserves. Hopefully she will, but I don't think she's going to get it as much as you know.
Yeah. What I don't get is, all right, so perfect. I love using this or thinking about this example. Black Panther. When Panther came out, black people came out in fucking droves. Like, we took Greyhound buses
Hmm.
to the movie theaters. We set up fucking cookouts in fucking movie theaters when this shit was coming out. That was a whole fucking movement. It was a vibe. And obviously the outside world also wanted to see Black Panther. It fucking
Hmm.
smashed the box office. How come that doesn't happen with other black movies or other black content? It's like, do you want to just make content specifically geared towards black people, or do you want to make it so that it appeals to the masses? For me, I want to make something that
Hmm.
appeals to the masses. But I know some people want to make stuff just for black people, which is totally fine. I get it, 1000%. But what do you think is better? And if you think one is better, how can you improve getting people to support and buy black shit from black
Mm-hmm.
people?
I think both are needed. I think that, as a creator, writer, singer, musician, you need to create things that align with your spirit. And so that may not always necessarily appeal to the masses, right? Case in point, Beyonce.
Okay.
I love using Beyonce as an example because I think
Mm-hmm.
she has a good um her career. I think we all can learn something from her career. One, when she was pop, she was making money. Like she was making money, 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 money. And she knew, I do feel like she knew the day would come when she would like stop making pop and she would start making stuff that really truly spoke to her.
Get
Right.
that black
So
shit in.
Lemonade, we got Lemonade, we had Black is King,
Yep.
Homecoming.
Fire album, by
Yeah,
the way.
yeah. And so I think she did what she had to do in the beginning of her career, to kind of get her
Okay.
name, establish her name, get that money, invest that money, and so later in her life she could do what she really truly loved, which was these basically these visual albums that spoke to social injustice and womanhood and sexuality. And now she's a controversial figure. Like, some people hate her, some people love her, some
Okay.
people don't really care about her. But if you have Beyonce as a topic, there are going to be two people in the room fighting because they feel a certain type of way. So similarly,
Oh, so she hit these motherfuckers with reverse gentrification. She said, "Yo, I'm gonna appeal to the masses, including the
exactly,
white people, and then when I grab up all that money, it's gonna be
right.
blackety black
The day
black up in here."
SNL did a skit.
I
Remember
like that.
SNL skit? The day Beyonce turned black, like it was like, oh my gosh, she's
Nah,
black.
I missed that one. That's
So
funny.
I think
That's
that no
funny.
matter, like, I think from a business perspective, I think you should definitely include in your portfolio things that appeal to the masses, because that is what is going to sell. That's what's going to get you your money, so you can fund your passion projects, which might be only for your culture, it might be only for your people, and that's okay. I don't think you're selling out. I think you are just being smart about it. Now, if all you do
Okay.
is fluff, that's food on your children's table. I'm not gonna knock that, you know. Um, but so I think that is important to do both. I really do. Because if you only do stuff for your culture, how are other cultures going to learn? You can throw in those lessons
Mm,
in those movies. Like Black Panther had a lot of lessons, and it showed a lot.
yeah.
We're not, you know, had it not been for colonization, our people would have been continue to be kings and queens. You know what I mean? Um, and Black people, we don't always want to see trauma. Like we don't want to see. I don't want to. There's certain movies I've
Yeah.
only will see once. I will never see it again because I don't want to be
Yeah.
re-traumatized. That's okay. I know my
Yep.
ancestors were slaves. I don't have to see it again. I don't have to see it every Black History Month.
Yep.
So yeah. So in
100%.
answer to your question, I think it's okay to do both. And I think that we should take lessons from the billionaires. Beyonce's
Mm-hmm.
career, she did stuff early in her career that was very for the masses, but now as she getting older, it's for her people. It's for her what aligns with whatever she decides she wants to do.
That's smart, man. I obviously I've been listening to freaking Beyonce
Hmm.
my whole freaking life. I mean, Destiny's Child. Like I remember when Destiny's Child had more than 3 people. I remember when Michelle wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like all of this shit. And it never just like occurred to me as like holy shit, like she was to the masses and now she's not. Maybe that's the route to go. Maybe it's like not just put yourself in a box and a demographic, especially in the beginning, and then when you get enough success, when you get enough money, whatever you determine that is, then it's like, all right, cool, double down on like what you really, really
Yeah.
want to do.
And that's just one way that's what worked for
Mm,
her. Some people might do it the opposite, but that's what worked for her. And you know,
Who's done it the opposite? Maybe Tyler Perry's an example of somebody
Hmm.
who's done it the
I
opposite.
think so because he started off
Hmm.
with plays that
Yeah.
on subjects that really only we would get that we would find funny,
Okay.
but
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Tyler Perry, and again, I hate to put men against women, but
mhm,
Tyler Perry, he built his shit up from the ground up. Plays that I'm gonna assume that he owned, he was making
mhm,
majority of the money. Then he started making his own movies. Then he started making his own movies, and they just got bigger
mhm,
and bigger and bigger because he already had the audience, he already had the demographic, he already had everything. So he built up
mhm,
his fan base. Whereas maybe Taraji or Monique didn't do that, and they just wanted to get the bag from the big movies or something like that instead of building it from themselves
mhm.
by
That's a good
scratch.
point. That's a good point. I mean, they don't have a fandom, you know. Um,
Yeah. Or at least a fandom that's like big enough. That's one of the things that I talk with Lonzo about. It's like, yo, I want to build a fandom that's like militant. Like if I say like, yo, do this, like you fucking do it. Like, the
mhm,
beehive, kind of
mhm.
cultish. The
I
fucking
know.
Barbs, kind of cult. The Swifties is the biggest cult since fucking what, like Jim Jones and
Mhm,
all those motherfuckers on the West who were drinking Kool-Aid and the Swifties. Taylor Swift has the biggest militant fan base, I think, out of anybody on
mhm.
this
The
planet right now.
numbers,
She
the
probably has a
numbers
bigger
speak for
fan base.
themselves.
Gotta respect it. She probably got a bigger fan base than actual countries have entire populations.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Mhm,
crazy. But like it's like, yo, I want to have a fan base like that. So like when I do decide to make something, sell something, do something, whatever it is, it's like, yo,
mhm.
they're on it.
Yeah. I
That's
think that's
fire.
another factor. When you see these people's names, Will Smith has a fandom. Um,
Yep.
all and we saw that clearly when the whole Jada thing happened. Will Smith has a fandom.
We don't speak that woman's name here. We do not speak that
I'm not.
woman's name, Jada Pinkett, whatever her name is, in this house. She is banned.
I'm not gonna speak on that because that's their marriage. If that's what they choose to call it, that's on them. But Will Smith has a fandom, which is why I feel like that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why he can go into any meeting and negotiation with this is my price. This is my price, and
Yep.
he knows that he's going to back that up. The people are going to come out and see him because he's Will Smith. We saw Aladdin because
Yeah.
it was Will Smith's movie. It wasn't. It
A
wasn't
hundred percent.
because of those other actors. I don't even know their names, but I know Will Smith was in there.
Yeah, I think the only person that I knew was Jasmine because she was like the Pink Ranger in like a Power Ranger movie. But other than that, yeah, I didn't really know her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get to this other
Mm.
list right here. Hollywood's highest paid Black actresses. So
Yeah.
this article was back in 2020. So this is kind of more recent. Of course, number one is Kerry Washington. She had obviously Scandal, and she has the little. She was paid. She has the show Little Fires Everywhere, which she was paid $1 million per episode.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. That's a
right.
bag right there. That's a bag. Even though I wonder if you kind of compare the two between a movie and a series, you're probably spending a lot more time and energy on a series than you would on a movie. But still, $1 million. I mean, if the average season is 6 to 8 episodes, that's 8 million. That's nice. That's a nice chunk of
Hmm.
change right there.
Yeah, she's number one. Number two is Gab, and so she's worth $50 million as of 2020. Gabrielle is
Yeah.
second with 40 million net worth. Um, and
What the fuck has Gabrielle Union
I,
been in?
I mean, she does a lot of. I mean, I guess she does a lot of movies. Um,
What movies? The last movie I saw her in is with Jet Li and fucking
I don't
DMX.
know. I don't know why she's worth so much. I mean, she. I don't know.
Taraji need to get
Yeah.
her agent because I don't know what the fuck you making money. That's the way that got to be Dwayne Wade's fucking her bank account.
I
That's
mean,
why. That's what they
Gabrielle
calculated.
Union to me doesn't have a range. Like she plays the same characters over and over again. Um,
Yeah,
and she's a great actress in what she does. But I don't know. I don't know why she's number two on this list. I don't know. But let me tell you,
that's
get
true.
it, go girl, because I don't know. And that might be why
That's
Taraji
real.
was crying, because she's thinking about these actresses. She's like, they get paid more than me.
Like I know I'm better than her.
Right.
I know I'm better than Gabrielle Union, and she's getting to the bag, and I'm not. Yeah,
I
that's
think it's
crazy.
the team behind you for real. Okay, so number three will
It
surprise you.
gotta be.
Mary J. Blige. She's worth 20 million.
Oh nah, if I'm Taraji, I'm shooting up my whole team. I'm shooting up the agency I work for. I'm shooting up everything.
Mhm.
There ain't no way Mary J. Blige is making more
Yeah,
money
she's
than
number
me.
three.
That's crazy. Are they calculating her like music also? They got to be calculating the music in that too.
But probably,
Is
probably.
it just
I'm assuming.
yeah? It got to be the music. There's no way. It got to be the
Of
music.
course, Tracy Ellis Ross is number four. She's worth 16 million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I could see that. I could
yeah.
definitely see that.
Blackish was phenomenal.
It was massive. And again, it depends on like the contract and shit like that. But like when you have a popping show, like you're gonna be getting paid you're gonna be getting paid
Mhm.
per episode what Taraji
I
was getting
know.
paid for a whole movie,
That's a
pretty
shame
much.
though. So I think Taraji needs
Yeah,
just a new team all together. Um, Number
yeah.
five, Viola Davis. She's worth 15 million. Again, this is in 2020, so I think that's probably
That's
gone up.
yeah. That's upper echelon right there. Viola
Mhm.
Davis, that's upper
Yeah.
echelon.
Number six, Zendaya, 15 million. Of course, I'm pretty sure that's gone up too since
Yeah, yeah,
2020.
yeah. Yeah, y'all not fucking with Zendaya. Zendaya is getting to the bag. She's in same thing. She's not in Avengers, but she's in Spider Man. She's
Euphoria.
Euphoria. What she's probably I think she was getting paid. I think 1 million per
Mhm.
episode too, which is crazy. And she's in the new Dune movie, Dune One
Mhm.
and Part
Yeah.
Two. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
She's
and
getting
I
to the
and
bag.
I think that number is just going to go up because I don't think she's quite there yet, but she does want to become producer. She wants to, be behind the camera and start producing things. So
I can see that.
that's gonna. I think she's gonna be a billionaire by the time she's 30. To tell you the truth.
I
Mhm.
can 1000% see that.
Octavia Spencer is number seven. She's worth 12 million. Um, I feel
Yeah,
like this is a good. I
she's
feel like that's accurate because everything she's in, all eyes are on her. That whatever role she's in, I think it adds weight to the scene. Um,
so it's interesting because her and Taraji's like leading role movie was
mm,
Hidden Figures, and she was in that also.
mm. Oh,
Yeah, Octavia Spencer
yeah. I
was in
wonder
it. She
why
was one of the people that helped, and then Janelle Monae was also in it.
Janelle Monae's on this list. Yeah,
Yeah, Taraji, she got to shoot. She got to shoot that whole management
yeah.
company's office building. She got to shoot that bitch up.
Number eight, Regina King. She's worth 12 million. I mean, that's no surprise.
Oh, that's the queen. That's the
Hmm.
queen right there. No Regina King slander will
Yeah,
be
she's
tolerated
has
ever.
Emmys. She got her start on 227 and been acting ever since. Yeah.
She went from she's
Mhm.
done so much shit. She had the Watchmen series. She did the voices for Riley and Huey in the Boondocks. She was in Friday.
Mhm. Yeah.
She was in a lot of shit. Yeah, Regina King.
Yeah.
Legend.
And then Janelle Monae is on this list. She's worth 9 million as of 2020. Um, I think they're probably including her music too.
It got to
Yeah.
be the music too. It got to
But
be the
her
music.
range is good because Hidden Figures and then Antebellum. When you put those two together, those are two different roles. So she did. Issa Rae
Hmm.
is next with she's worth 4 million, but I think that's an outdated
Yeah.
number. Um,
Yeah, she
Number
definitely not right
11,
now.
Janae Smollett with Lovecraft Country. I'm not sure if that's still accurate, but
No,
mm,
oh, I don't know. I don't. Lovecraft Country,
yeah.
that was canceled, even though I thought that shit was fire. But yeah, Junie, she been acting since she was
Hmm.
like 5 years old. Like that's
Yeah,
unfair.
but she doesn't get a lot of roles though. Like you don't really see her.
She was in Birds of Prey, and she
It
was in
didn't do
Lovecraft
well.
Country.
Birds of
She was
Prey
in
didn't do
something
well
else too.
in the movie theater.
I mean, I
Mm,
didn't
I
like it.
don't
I
think
don't
it
know if it did
did.
well. I would
I
have to
think
like
it
look it up.
bombed.
But
And
yeah,
then the last person on this list is Marseille. Um,
I don't know who
Blackish.
the
Yes,
fuck
you
that
do.
is.
The little girl from Blackish.
Oh shit! Yeah, 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 yeah. The one
Yeah,
with the
the one
mean
that has
face.
that
Yes.
famous meme like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Yep.
So
Yep.
and this is 2020 and Taraji's
Facts.
not on this list. So like I said, I think there's a lot of
Yeah, that's
factors.
different. That's different. There's a lot of people that's on that. What Jay Z say? There's a lot of people on here that shouldn't be on there. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
That is insane. Yeah, Taraji, she just gotta
mhm,
fire her whole team. I don't know who she been working with. I don't know what cousin or auntie she
exactly.
put in a position of power, but she gotta fire them, and she gotta get new management. She gotta figure out who what's that girl that we just talked about? Oh, she gotta figure out Mary J.
Right.
Blige's freaking channel
Who's her
name.
team?
Because yeah, ain't no reason that Mary J. Blige. That's almost like the same like type of person right there too. Just Mary J is like a little bit older,
Same
but yeah, nah,
roles.
ain't no way.
Yeah,
Ain't
same
no
roles.
fucking way.
Taraji should definitely be on this list because she is a great actress. But again, I think a lot of factors play into that whole conversation. You gotta be able to bring in the people. You gotta have that draw, like you was talking about. You gotta be able
Yeah,
to bring people to the box office, or make people turn on their TV and watch you or stream you. And if you don't have that, then you really
yeah.
can't sit here and cry that you're not paid what you're worth. Now, do I think, like I said, she should not be
Yeah.
getting 100K? Like we made that, we
Not for a
made that
whole
little bit
movie,
over that
nah.
last year. Like, and but she
Yeah,
should be getting, I would say, at least 5 million for every role. If they in 10 million, 15, 20, if she can bring in those numbers, but she should not be. I don't know who her team is. I don't know who
yeah,
her team is.
yeah. I mean, the thing about it now is like she kind of like
Hmm.
pinned herself because she did, all of that. The Color Purple
I
didn't do
know.
anything; it flopped. So now it's like, fuck. It's like, what am I gonna do for the next one? It's like, yo, I can't say, yo, give me this, and they're gonna be like, well, what happened with your
Exactly.
last movie? It's like you, I hate to say it, but and this is just from like me. I'm inexperienced, but it's almost like, yo, you got to take the L, and you got to be very, very particular with the next
Hmm.
role that you take. You got to take something that you know is going to be a
Right. And
fucking
it might not. It
smash.
might be a fluff
And it's
role.
tough.
It might be a fluff role. Look at
Yeah,
these actors in the Marvel movies. Early the Phase One movies. They probably didn't like. Oh, this is not my first choice. Like Chris Evans, he didn't want to take that role. But then,
well,
it turned out to be
that's
one of his best roles. But it was kind of an
yeah,
easy gig for him, and he made millions. Now he's a white man. Okay, I gotta say that. But with
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Taraji, maybe she should start saying yes to these fluff roles and get that money, and build up those numbers. Like, hey, I bought in, $200 million with my last role. So.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Interesting, interesting. But yo, this convo was awesome. This is a very different convo than I've ever had on here. And I had fun because now we got to kind of talk about some of like the big names in Hollywood. We got to talk a little bit about the business, but also kind of like pinning it towards just like the comic book business. So just anything in general when you're creating shit, it's like how could you go about it? I definitely learned the hey, appeal to the masses first. Then if you want to like localize it afterwards, after you made all your money, then do that shit. That's definitely going to be a principle that I fucking learned from this 55-minute podcast
Yeah,
episode.
I think Beyonce and Jay Z, more so Beyonce. I think that she showed us that works. Appeal to the masses,
Nice.
and then once you show what you can bring in, once you show what you are truly worth, then you start doing the stuff that you truly want to do. So, yeah.
There we go. There we go. So before we get out of here, I know you got some stuff that you want to plug. We'll plug that in, and then we will
All
cut
right.
out of here.
Yeah. So Luna, the Queen of Mahru, my comic book. Issue 2 is coming. We're going to be launching on Kickstarter February 10th. So I don't know when you're going to be showing this, but most likely the Kickstarter be running. So head to kickstarter.com, search Luna, the Queen of Mahru, or go to my bio and click on the link, the Kickstarter link. So to support. Mm-hmm.
And cop that issue 1 too. Don't forget about issue
Yeah,
1.
that's
Cop
going to
that
be
one.
all. 1 and 2 is going
Trying
to
to get
be
these.
on the Kickstarter because 1 is sold out. So that's the only way you're going to be
Okay.
able to get. 1 is.
Oh shit. Excuse me. We got sold out projects over here. All right, awesome. Karla, appreciate you hopping on. Again, like I said, you are a welcome guest here. Feel free to come on anytime, and we can just chat about all of the crazy nonsense that's going on in Hollywood and also the comic book and nerd industry. And yeah, to everybody else, see you
Thank
guys later.
you.
Deuces.